welcome to the news right now. I am a harbinger of doom whose sole purpose is to tell you all about the mind-numbing yet terrifying events that are happening. I speak in a monotone voice so you confuse what I'm saying to be fact and not the opinion of my writers. I also wear a suit with a lack of bright colours to remove any semblance of fun from the reporting of serious news. Our first story is the one thing we've been talking about for weeks, possibly months, and will only be replaced when something equally or more devastating comes along. I continue with more facts about the story without moving my arms to keep you focused on what I'm saying. And then I say something dramatic from our writing template like tensions are rising, so the people that are barely listening know the story is getting more horrific. We'll now talk to an expert on the topic via a video call in which every question is followed by a few seconds of painfully awkward silence, and I may interrupt them to ask if they can hear me. Hello expert, how bad is the situation right now? Hello, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. It's very bad.
Are there any signs of things getting better?
I'm working with some very talented people and we're feeling optimistic. But that's to put the audience at ease, because really we're vomiting with stress right now and the constant news exposure is only amplifying things.
Thanks for the update. That's incredibly similar to yesterday's update, since most news stories don't advance massively in the short amount of time that is the daily news cycle. And if you want the same information again but in word form, head over to our website. Now for a happy story from a reporter you've never seen in a place you don't care about. Over to you, reporter person.
Hello, I wear a bright, colourful tie to remind you that this is a happy story. I'm also dressed in a suit in a location where this outfit is way too formal, but you wouldn't take me seriously if I was dressed in a t-shirt. I'm standing in front of this sign, which I'll look at, as this is the area the story takes place. You're now probably looking at your phone, so in an attempt to get your attention, I move my arms a bit more. I continue with the light-hearted story, so you don't think the news is all death and destruction. Ending on a lame joke so we can cut to footage of me walking with someone involved, and I tell you that I spoke to them earlier, then cutting to that interview. So tell me, person in casual clothing, is everything good?
Everything is good. I'm now going to proceed to tell you everything that you have already heard. It will be from my point of view, which will make it more relatable, as I am an average person. We'll probably cut to some other footage during the retelling, because you'll probably get tired of looking at my face for a long period of time. And stop me droning on for hours. We've recorded this ahead of time. It allows us to cut down to the main parts. We also record beforehand on the off chance that I am going to be abysmal on camera, or I go rogue, saying a swear word before the watershed time. My story now comes to a close, showing some B-roll of me doing something at a slight distance, and then in a closer shot we end of me smiling to remind you again that this is a very happy story.
We've now cut back to the live part of this segment to give you a little summary and to end with another bad but light-hearted joke to raise morale before the inevitable downpour of unhappiness that will be followed in the next bit. Back to you in the studio.
What a lovely story. In other news, bad things are happening and it could be near you. Now I've got your attention, I'm going to tell you more about the bad things. I continue to talk while we play CCTV footage related to the issue, but it's such a low resolution I have to describe every single detail. We then cut to footage from someone's phone camera that is somehow worse quality, even though everybody has modern technology that should be able to capture 1080p with no problem. Now we bring our camera into the streets to see how regular people feel about this issue.
I blame the political party that's in right now.
I blame the political party that was before the current political party.
I blame the immigrants.
We now cut to footage of people walking in the streets to remind you this is a human issue, and then we go out of focus to overlay some graphs and statistics. You won't understand why the line is going up, but you can at least figure out by my tone that up is bad. If you want to get involved, then use one of our hashtags so you can pretend to be smart by debating people, when in actuality you're just getting annoyed by everyone who thinks differently to you. Now for the weather. Hello, I'm a very feminine man who is possibly gay because you confuse a happy-faced news presenter to mean homosexuality. I point at a map that you pretend to know what all the symbols mean, but in reality you're just looking at the rain and if it's over your house. We now zoom into an area and you'll stop caring because you're not going to be going to this place anyway. We then eventually get to your general area and you're just checking how close the rain gets to you, even though years of predicting the English weather has never been an exact science. You'll probably make a comment about the weather since it's easy conversation, then you'll quickly forget everything I've said as it's all irrelevant, since the weather will have changed by the time you check your weather app. Back to you, monotone man. Now for a story that starts sad but has a happy ending. We're here with this person in the studio because they are less busy than the expert. I explained briefly that they had a bad thing happen to them and now they've overcome it. Tell us more.
I now tell you a more in-depth version of what they just said, and I finish it off by saying I'm better than I was before the bad stuff happened.
I now ask some questions that the audience might have, and it's to make me look more human.
I answered the questions and remained very positive, making the audience feel good as I got past the bad things that happened to me.
We now end the news because we've run out of things to talk about, but if you want the same information in reading form, we'll tell you again to visit our website. You're now going to start your day in a neutral mood because the last clip you watched evened out the misery before it. But we all know the topics you'll speak about at work are the ones that are going to make you depressed. Then, because you've only been half listening, you'll recite the facts wrong, get in an argument with your colleague which results in both of you thinking the other is a brain-dead imbecile, leading to you insulting each other and ending with you crying at your desk because of your pitiful existence. Goodbye and see you tomorrow.